Good to have you with us today, Richard Hyssong on the Hyssongs. How you doing, Richard?
Man, I am doing great. I didn't shave for the last couple of days because I wanted to match you, but you can see I am nowhere near where you're at. You're
Well,
taking this to a new level.
and you know how long it's taken me? I don't grow beards very well, and this is all I can do.
This is true. Well, this is like a 6 weeks right
Oh,
there.
that's
So
six.
it
Oh,
is.
okay. Well, then I'm not the worst at growing beards then.
No, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. It is good to see you. It's been a few months since we've seen you, and it's good to be here on Zoom.
You as well. I'm assuming you're in Maine. Is that where you're at?
I am in Maine, and in fact, this morning at 7 o'clock when I got out of bed, actually I lied. I got up at 8, but at 7 o'clock my eyes were open, and it was actually spitting snow outside.
Wow.
That's how cold it was, and I was thinking, man, I need to be in Florida. But
I know that we talked about this last time when we did the podcast, but I want to bring it up again because a Southern gospel artist from Maine is kind of unusual. You reside in Maine, and there's a story behind it. You actually were part of the South, I guess, from birth, and then the family moved to Maine because of pastorship.
yeah, my dad was a pastor, and he pastored for 25 years, and his last church was in the state of Maine. And in fact, my grandparents, from Easley, South Carolina, my mom's family obviously is outside of Chattanooga, and in fact, where they're all from, they got hit hard with the tornadoes. Now they were fine, but that area was Hickson, Saudi Daisy, and
Hmm.
so on. And so when my dad was a pastor, he pastored up here in the state of Maine, and we love it up here. It's a beautiful area for 3 months of the year. It's beautiful, but no, it's a beautiful area. And my wife is from Maine, and so yeah, so that's where we just kept the houses up here and we reside up here. But it's unusual to have Southern gospel from up north.
You know, and I looked at your schedule, and it's New England states. I mean, you're going to be in May, and in June, you're up in Maine and Connecticut and that
New York,
area.
yeah.
Does it almost feel like you're missionaries for Southern gospel there in the New England states?
Somewhat. It's funny. They love Southern gospel. I don't know where to look, by the way. I know that's ADHD. I don't know where my eyes are all over the place. Sorry, everyone's watching. Yes, I have ADHD really bad. What was your question? No, we do. It's funny because Southern gospel isn't as well known up in the Northeast as other parts of the country, and so we do get to introduce this style of music. But more importantly, they enjoy it. They enjoy the style of music. But more importantly, they enjoy the message of the lyrics and the music, and they're kind of open to it. They love the praise and worship and contemporary. They love Southern gospel when they hear it. But yeah, not a lot of groups come up this far up north.
Is it inconvenient, though? I mean, you're a long way from the central
Yeah.
part of Southern gospel, so do you find it, I hate to use that word, but somewhat
Yeah,
inconvenient at times?
for a lot of the events that happen, like I'm 13 hours from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and that's still way.
Yeah.
So for the National Quartet Convention, we're 21 hours away or whatever. So yeah, it is. I know we're looking up here in the next few weeks. There's a few events. Bill Bailey's in Florida, right? We do Silver Dollar City every year in Missouri, and that's, I can't, by the time we drive that far, you're brain dead basically. But no, I wouldn't trade it for anything else, because you're right. There isn't a gospel group on every corner like there would be in North Carolina, and there's phenomenal. So when they hear us, it's almost like, how do I say this? They almost appreciate it more because they don't get it up here. And so when they do get a group up here, and there's groups come up here like Greater Vision will come up here, or the Hoppers, or the Perrys were supposed to be up here in a couple weeks, the people appreciate it more because they just don't get it.
Where COVID-19 is concerned, obviously, it's put the brakes on everything gospel music related. When you get back to the music, and I notice on your schedule you've got a May 3rd date, I think, still planned. So,
It's canceled. I just haven't changed it yet.
okay. When you do get, though, back on the road, I mean, are you concerned that, I mean, this is hurting people too in their pocketbook? I mean, let's face it, some of these people, maybe you as well, rely on the funding to be able to foot the bills. When you get back to the music, because of the social distancing that will likely still be in place, do you see it
Right.
getting right back where it was, or it being some time before that happens?
I think it's going to be some time before it gets back to, because of social distancing, you're not even going to be able to have a certain amount of people in the building, right? So, and in some areas it changes. Some areas you can have 100 people in your parking lot. Some places, if you do a drive-in, have like 50 cars and you're stopped. I think, obviously, with us, I think June 7th is going to be the first concert that we haven't been canceled yet, because our whole West Coast tour, just announcing it here, has been canceled because a lot of people canceled. Financially, I think it's going to be hard for churches also to. They've got to support the local ministries. They've got to support radio ministries like yourself. There are gospel groups coming in. But I think with us, we look at it from, yes, it's going to hurt us, but everyone's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going through a difficult time. And even if it financially is going to be tough on us, we're going to push through because we know that we want to encourage people. We want people to know that there is hope and that God loves them, and we're all in this together. So I'm afraid this is going to last quite a bit, and I think the effects of the shutdown is going to affect a lot of the churches and gospel groups and radio stations and so on. Yes,
They say silver lining.
That was negative.
Yeah, no, it was reality.
It's reality. But I think one thing too is as a gospel artist, and I want to say this to artists that will listen too. Yes, we're hurting. Yes, there's no income coming in because we're not getting paid. But we also have to realize that the people that are watching us are also hurting, and they're also not getting paid too. And so we're all in this together. So I know a lot of artists sometimes we think, oh man, we're hurting, but like my neighbor, just right over that, we can see the window, the light of the window. He just got furloughed too. So we're all in this together.
There's typically silver lining in everything. Do you see something that will become a silver lining for the Southern gospel music industry out of this COVID-19?
I think the silver lining, and I don't know if I can answer this correctly. I think especially with us and a lot of different groups, and look what we're doing right now with Zoom. We're reaching more people through Zoom, being social distance. And by the way, it's a lot better being this far from you than when I was in the office. But
thanks.
Hey, I'm here for you. Thank you for playing my music. But I think what the silver lining of this is, we have all become. We've thought outside the box more, and I think we've always needed to do that. But sometimes we're so tunnel visioned. We go to one place, we set up, we sing, we minister, we tear down, we leave. But we're doing online social media. We're reaching more people that way. You're reaching more people with Zoom and these interviews. So I think the silver lining of the industry side of it is that we have thought, how can we expand and how can we think outside the box to reach more people?
Let's talk about the Hyssongs. Hey, that was a great answer.
Hey, my favorite subject.
What about the new song?
and sports, really.
Well, that's true. Let's get back to the song. The song, There Is a God. Tell us about it.
There Is a God was written a few years back by a record producer. He actually wrote the song I Tell Them Jesus that went number one for us a few years back. And so when he pitched us the song, and this is before the whole COVID situation, but anytime you watch the news or you hear your neighbors talk, they're always questioning the existence of God, or they wonder, why are we here? And there's so many questions, especially right now with this COVID-19. What's going to be around the corner? But with me, when I drove to see you, we drove from Pensacola to see you, the most gorgeous area of the world right there, ocean all the way to the middle of nowhere where the horses where you guys are. And all you have to do is just look around and see God's handiwork. You see the sunshine, the sunrise, the sunset. And when you look at all that, you realize there is a God. And especially in this situation, there is a God. He knows our names. He knows the situations we're going through. He's in control, and that he loves each and every single one of us. So we released the song before COVID-19 happened. I had no idea and didn't know how the song was going to be received. And it's already doing very, very well. But we just hope people listen to the message.
A great song, by the way. You play the trombone, your dad the trumpet, brass
Yes.
in the Hyssongs live concert. You don't have the trombone nearby, and you could play us a little something, do you?
I have it downstairs. I'd have to run down and pick it back up. Um, just and it probably wouldn't sound so good here. I haven't practiced in a couple weeks. Well,
And
about a week and a half.
and plus, I'd have to stall while you go get it. We'll skip that. But the
You
trombone
can
and trumpet.
shave. You can shave. You,
No, this took too long. I'm
it
not going to
did.
shave again. Never.
Yeah, I would. I'm going for the Magnum PI look, but I'm still
Six
still
more
not there.
weeks. Okay. Yeah.
6 more weeks.
The brass, though, I want to talk about that. Do you play the brass in every song, or percentage wise, half the songs, a third of
Yeah,
them?
probably about 40%. 40% of the concert we'll do the brass. People still like the live instrumentation, and so we try to play as much piano and as much brass as we possibly can, because you don't see it a lot anymore. I mean, the pipers. John is now doing very, very well at being a pastor in Ohio. They still get out some, but they just don't go out as much. We just lost, Jerry Goff. I mean, he was
Hmm.
just a phenomenal trumpet player. And so we try to play as much trumpet trombone as we can. And we try to do it with songs people know. Like we'll play Majesty on the horns. A lot of times we'll finish off with The King is Coming with a brass. But yeah, we try to play it as much as we possibly can. And that's really, even with some of the theme parks that book, like Silver City, they really want us to play the brass. I don't know what that says about my voice, but
Just no, don't sing, play.
that's it. That's it. Well, Bill Bailey said that to us, and he's in Florida, so I keep mentioning it. But we were doing Winter Convention 2 years ago, and so we did the first portion, and then the other group sang, and then they stopped for a break. He comes to the table, is like, "Can you play more brass?" What do you mean? Can I play more brass instruments? And it's never. And I want to say this: it's never the trombone. No, no, no. They're always like, "Man, your dad with that trumpet, man, he's excellent." What am I?
Yeah,
I'm
well,
playing the larger instrument.
uh-huh. Takes a lot more air,
Yeah, a lot more air. A lot more air. A lot more practice. Your arm has to be longer. See,
bigger
I don't know if you can see my
mouthpiece.
arm there.
Yeah.
Yes, you got the bigger mouthpiece. Nothing.
Huh.
Nothing. They don't care.
No respect.
I'm like Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
I have no respect.
Yeah. Well, I respect you. Okay. I just want you to
You're
know
gonna
that.
edit this whole thing out, aren't you? This is
No, this is all going on the interview, going on Facebook, by the way. I noticed on the website, His Songs website, that when I looked through the store and at some of the previous projects, there was one that was only Richard Hyssong. How did that happen?
yes. Well, so I was gonna say, I've got millions of those if you want to buy them. Um, every so often, I'll do a solo project. I did one when I was 16. I think I did one when I was like 21, 22. It's just something different that we wanted to do. You never know what happens in the future. Also, my dad, he's always like, if I get sick and I can't get on the platform that night, you'll have more things to sing. So it's just something that we just thought of, that we needed extra songs to sing, and we did that. We do Christmas albums. But yeah, I literally have millions of those still left. I've got them in the basement. I've got them in my living room. I've got a box in the bed. It's just everywhere.
Just
And
you thought
it
you were
was
going
definitely it was a big seller. It was a big seller in one church, and so it was good.
to tell
Thanks
us
for
more.
asking.
Sure, no problem. I just noticed, wanted to mention and see if I could get your take on it. Uh, Before we go though, seriously, how do
Mhm.
people get His Song information? How do they get His Song's product as well? Do they go to your website? Can they also visit you on Facebook and that kind of stuff?
They can. You can go to our website, and obviously that's the Hyssongs, and I'm sure you probably put it somewhere, but our last name, HYSSONGS.com. And yes, Hyssong is our last name. We were not clever enough to make it up. You can also find us on, you said to be serious, I'll be serious. I'm serious. We didn't make it up. And we can find us on Facebook at the Hyssongs. Just press the like button. And by the way, why is there a like button and a follow button? Is that people that don't necessarily like you, but they still need to follow you?
I think you can do one or the other, and I don't know which it is, man. I'm not
I,
technologically savvy.
See, I'm thinking it's more like, when you're in high school and you ask a girl out on a date, it's like if you pay, they like you. And if they say, no, this is just a friendship, that's more like a follow.
A follow. Could
I
be.
don't know.
I like the
Maybe your
analogy.
Zoom people can help us. So you go to Facebook, like us on the Hyssongs. You can find us on Twitter at Hyssong Fam. I don't like it, Hyssong Fam, but that's all we had left. And you can find us on Instagram and all that. But hey, I want to thank you two for having me. And it's good to laugh. I think it's like medicine. And it's always good to be with you.
Good to talk to you as well, and some great music from the Hyssongs. Keep it up, and hey, man, I love the do you got going on.
Do
And
you
you
like
say
that?
that was a cell phone thing?
It was. I was on the cell phone for a while, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I got to do this radio. And then it popped on the video, and I'm like, oh, man, my hair is sticking out here. And we had to cut my hair the other day. I think I'm going back to Supercuts when it opens up, because I got hair popping up everywhere. If you see my sideburn, so my mom's like, how short do you want your sideburn? I'm like, I want it pretty short. I was thinking in, she was thinking up, and it like is equal to my ear.
Uh-huh.
I can't go out. I've got to be stuck here in the house until it grows out.
I understand. My wife cut my hair one time. I had to go to barbershop ER, and it's never been done again. So no haircuts for me until, I don't know, till I guess they start cutting hair again professionally.
Who knows? That could be whenever.
I don't know exactly how we got to haircuts from gospel music. Richard Hyssong, always good to chat with you. Thanks so much for taking the time, and we look forward to seeing you soon down here in the southern part of the country.
Hey, thanks, Robert, and God bless you guys.
You too.